Shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders, a great millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. All right, and I got two shorts, okay, once again from Facebook, so we could call this Facebook finds, all right. There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, when you watch these things on Facebook, I suppose there's an algorithm that kind of suggests other videos under the same topic. So I end up getting a lot of these kind of videos. So it's all through the spirit because there's a lot to talk about. So if you don't see this guy, okay, or if you don't know who this guy is on the screen, his name is Nick Fuentes, okay, and he is a small hat. However, he's one of those patriotic American small hats. He loves America. Okay, he's an Edomite. He hates the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He's a devil. However, okay, that's going to be the topic of this video is going to be on how Nick Fuentes is coming against his own. All right, he's coming against the little hats. All right, and he's coming against them hard. There was a topic, or there was a suggested debate between Nick Fuentes and the other little hat that's famous in America, Ben Shapiro. Okay, and Nick Fuentes has been going viral lately because of what he's been saying about the little hats, Israel. Okay, the fake state of Israel. So we're gonna listen to both of these, and then we'll just grab some quick scriptures about how Esau Edom is now fighting a war against himself. This is brother against brother. Okay, this is American against little hat. This is Esau Edom against Esau Edom, Satan against Satan. All right, so we enjoy this because this is just one of the signs of the times. Okay, Yahweh Shai said, "If Satan be divided against Satan," right? So let's go ahead and watch this first one. All right,
and understand systematically, this is how this works. Traditionally, this is how they enforce their control. When anybody criticizes the political arrangement, which has us giving billions of dollars to Israel, fighting their wars, giving them missiles, kissing their wall.
And by the way, those little hats over in Israel, Elder Malcolm did a few videos, okay, recently, where he showed you what those rabbis in Israel think about you so-called American Christians, all right? They spit down upon you and your white Jesus, all right? They, in their Talmud, it talks about how that Jesus is burning in human excrement in hell, okay? That's what they believe about your Lord and Savior, okay? Which is also a false Lord and Savior. The real true Lord and Savior is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and he's a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. But, all right, he's coming against these other Edomites, okay? This is Amalek against Amalek, really, right here. But he's coming against them, and he's exposing them. And like he's, like it says in 2 Thessalonians, that man's sin shall be revealed. All right, so let's keep watching.
Whenever anybody criticizes that, they come in with the emotional blackmail. They come in with the guilt tripping. And they talk about the Holocaust, and they say they're disgusted, and they say you're anti-Semitic. And in the past, this was enough for people. The memory of the Holocaust was enough for people to say, yeah, this is really messed up. We can't talk about that. But they've got a real problem on their hands. Because in the past 2 years, they have forfeited that moral high ground. You want to talk about the Holocaust, a genocide? How about talking about the genocide that you support right now? You want to talk about disgust and being appalled? How about the abuses that are happening today, which you support? You can't play that card anymore. You've lost it. And if you don't have that, you've got nothing. Nothing. Because you're not that likable. You're not that good looking.
Hey, man, he's going in. All right, but it's so funny and it's so beautiful to see because this is Esau. Okay, he's tearing them up. All right, and this is really what these so-called Edomite Christian nationalists, white Christian nationalists believe, man. They hate those small hats over there in the land of Israel, man. All right, and so does everybody in the world. Okay, it's just that these little hats They have so much control in the media. They have so much control in the government. They have so much control over policy and enforcement that nobody dares speak up against them. That's why Nick Fuentes is going viral, because he says stuff like this and everybody is agreeing with him that these people in Israel are the fucking devil, man. These people control and manipulate and blackmail. Meanwhile, they're literally the most morally inept people to ever exist. All right, let's keep listening, and then I'll get some scripture.
Look at Mark Levin, not a good-looking guy. Look at Josh Hammer, not a good-looking guy, and they're not likable. They're irritating to listen to. That's just on a personal level. Their arguments are weak. They're not persuasive. So without that blackmail, they got nothing. And this is them playing the same playbook, pointing and sputtering. He's an anti-Semite. Get him. You have to cancel this guy. I'm appalled. I'm scared. You have to go after this guy. That's the only card they have. That's the only playbook they have. It doesn't work anymore.
Well, let's just talk about the fact that everybody knows now, okay, because of the Hebrew Israelites, mainly the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching and teaching and laboring in this truth for over 40 years. Let's just talk about the fact that everybody knows that they're not Israel anymore. They're not the true people of the Bible. Everybody knows this. Even the Christians are starting to acknowledge this, all right? And we're at the point now where if you're not the people of the book, you can't use that H-cost card anymore. Nobody likes you. Everybody knows you're evil. Everybody knows the kind of corruption that goes on in your government and how you control America. All right. Nobody's gonna take up for you. All right. The scriptures say ye shall be greatly despised. All right, and they are. All right. Now let's grab a couple scriptures real quick. Let's go to Mark 3. All right. And 25, and it says, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. That's so true. All right. The house of Esau Edom cannot stand any longer. They can't. All right. Why? Because they're going to end up destroying themselves. Like, what are these arrows for? Okay. And who created them? Like it said in I believe that's Isaiah 54. Who created these arrows? Esau Edom. The Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai put the spirit on Oppenheimer to create that atom bomb, that first atom bomb, and then it grew into nuclear programs and now in all these countries. They're going to destroy themselves. All right. And Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to come and finish them off. All right. Now, let's get another one. Psalm 64 and 8, because this is what's happening. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. What's going on with all this? Just today I was watching a bunch of videos and this whole thing that's being exposed about Trump and what he was doing with Bill Clinton and everything. There's a video apparently. All right. Hey, how many times we got to tell you that these fucking white people are the devil the Bible speaks of, man? These Edomites, they're the Edomites, okay? They are the Edomites, and they're being exposed. America is about to fall, man. America is about to implode on itself. This is the world's largest, world's most powerful, world's most dominant empire to have ever existed, far surpassing the power and influence of Rome, okay? In military might, in technology, in information. And now they're about to fall, man. Now they're about to fall, and they're going to pay for everything that they've done, not only to the world, everything they've done to these other nations, everything they've done to the planet, all the poison, all the death, all the robbery, all the murder, but mostly they're going to pay for what they did to the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, they're going to pay for that. And there's nothing they can do to stop what's about to happen here in America. It's going to be all out chaos, and it's going to be beautiful because Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to bring this down. Okay, now to finish this verse, it says, all that see them shall flee away, and they're going to be despised in the kingdom. Okay, everybody that sees Esau Edom, they're going to want to go the other direction. When you see an Edomite, you go the other direction. Okay, unlike what Gad did in the beginning when they accepted them into this into this continent, which they shouldn't have done, but it was prophecy. But now everybody knows who you are, Esau. All right, let's keep going.
Hard.
Let's get this one.
My religion is Christianity, and history is what it is. And we study Napoleon, and we study Alexander the Great, and we study.
And we talk about Alexander the Great and his significance in the scriptures, man. Alexander the Great is so reverenced by these Edomites because he represents the beginning of the Edomite dominance on planet Earth. He's the one that brought their nation, okay, the dominance that they have today, and they've only built off that. Okay, they've only done, uh, 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 um, they've only continue to exceed what he brought forth. Okay, so this is why this is why they reverence him with such a great delight. But let's keep going.
Caesar, and we study all these figures. We study Henry VIII. We study.
I believe he was a Jake. I could be wrong. I believe Henry VIII was a Jake, but I could be wrong.
We study all the figures. Bismarck. And yes, we have an academic interest in Hitler and Stalin too, but it's not our religion.
Okay, well, that topic right there in the H guy, Hitler, all right, there's been a lot of people that have been going back, okay, and they've been translating his speeches. They've been translating them into English through AI and through translators and re-listening to what he was saying in all his speech. The propaganda that these little hats put out about that guy, okay, and how everybody's always seen, okay, even growing up in these movies and in classes, that we've all seen the famous speeches of Hitler where he was yelling and sweating and screaming and just German gibberish that we didn't understand as Americans. However, people are now going back, and we really never took the time to listen to what he was saying, okay, and the things that he said about these little hats, and the reasonings he was giving in the what do you call them, the issues, the complaints, the reasons he was giving for what he was doing. Okay, he sounds just like what these Edomite Christians are saying today. A lot of you so-called white supremacist, evangelical, Christian, Southern Baptist Americans, you Edomites, all right, you actually agree. If you listen to what Hitler was saying in his speeches, you actually agree and what he was saying, because the same thing that these little hats were doing in Germany in the 1930s is exactly what they're doing in America today. This is why they've been kicked out of almost so many countries in the world. They've been removed, kicked out, banned. Why? Because everywhere they go, they infiltrate. They attempt to overtake and infiltrate the country politically, through private industry. Everything they do, the banking industry, everything, all the resources, they try to take it over. And that's what was happening in Germany. And they were ruining the German country. And Hitler was sick of it. Okay. And this is exactly what's going to happen here in America. This is exactly what's going to happen here in America. And it's going to lead to World War III. All right.
And as Americans, we need to step outside the shadow of that time period. And that's not a dog whistle to say, oh, it's time to start wearing brown shirts. It's to say, like that exists in the Jewish consciousness, it doesn't exist in ours. That's a Jewish bedtime story. It's not a bedtime story for us. Americans should get interested in America. Why is every fucking movie about the Holocaust? Why is every...
Now, I won't lie. Those World War II era movies go hard. Okay, I'm talking about movies like Fury. I'm talking about movies like Inglourious Bastards. Those movies, those are probably some of my favorite movies because they just go so hard. But okay, I'm even talking about Saving Private Ryan. Okay, I love those movies. Okay, those war era movies. But he's right. Okay, he's right. This is has been because the little hats control the educational system. So of course that's what you're going to learn in school, and that's what you're going to see in the media and in Hollywood because they own that too. But yeah,
Everybody's so fucking obsessed with. That's the grand irony. It's projection. I care about America. I care about the conflicts of the 21st century. I care about American and European history. And these Jewish people that are obsessed because that's their trauma, that's their story, that's their struggle.
The reason that there's such a void.
So yeah, you get it, right? You get the point. So this is Esau coming against Esau finally. Let's get two more. Habakkuk 2:16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. All the bullshit that's coming out about these little hats, and also about you American Edomites. All the things that you were so proud of now is coming out the truth about who you really are and how you really get down. Okay, I'm sure everybody knows what we're talking about now. All right, Revelation chapter 11. Revelation 11 and 14, it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And, I mentioned that a little bit earlier, okay, that